Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Reverse Sweep. It's your boy Doug Censor Martin, joined alongside MarkyB, Parasite, and Aches. How are y'all doing today?
Fantastic, Doug. That was a great intro from yourself, mate. Looking forward to the show. Looking forward to talking about COD with you guys as per usual.
Yeah, I'm doing great. And taking advantage of this double XP on X Defiant. I know Chris has as well.
Yeah, I've been doing pretty good. Just grinding. Playing X Defiant. Keeping an eye out for video game news outside of just COD news, which we'll talk about shortly. We got some amazing games that got revealed. Even like some Gears of War stuff got revealed today. We got some Elden Ring DLC coming out. So I'm a big gamer. So this time of the year is exciting for me.
Yeah, you just touched on it, Chris. Black Ops 6 as well was obviously announced as part of all the different game announcements today. What did you guys like about the announcements so far? And obviously these things you're not seeing too much, but I think a lot of the stuff I saw so far looked pretty positive. So what's your thoughts, Doug?
Prestiges are back. Prestiges are back, and we have 12 original maps. That's the only two things I've been thinking about. The fact that we have a way to progressively play through pubs and have fun. Rank 55, Prestige, do it again. Get to 1,000, Prestige Master. I mean, I'm a big completionist person. I love to get to the highest level of something and be like, yay, we did it. So I think having prestiges is so cool. It's so cool. It's great for pubs.
How fucking old is this guy, dude?
What are you talking about? Listen.
Yay!
Yes, because you got to stay young inside. No matter what, you always should have a nice thing to look forward to.
You gotta say no Diddy after that. But anyways, listen. What I love about Black Ops 6 announcement is, one, they said we're coming back to 3-lane maps. They said that every year, so I don't even know what's going on there. I'm hoping that we get some good, new, nice Treyarch style maps. They always make bangers. And then we got, what was the other one that they said? Oh, just looking at the game, there was previews of the screen. It looked like Cold War in terms of the way the game looks. Obviously it's going to have enhanced graphics, so that's going to be cool. And then the final one that I liked was the omnidirectional movement. There's been talks already about it potentially getting GA'd because people just don't want to learn a new mechanic on top of all the rest of them, which I think is fucking insane. But I really like that mechanic, and I hope that we actually get to play around with it because I feel like it's innovation, bro. Treyarch's always good at innovating.
I mean, you guys are hyped for multiplayer, but it's all about the zombies, guys. Zombies is back. Round base. I'm a big zombies guy. Always have been for over a decade now.
Actually,
since what it were. Yeah, big zombies guy. I used to play me, Ego, Big T, and Sharp. We were an original zombie squad back in Black Ops 1, what it were. But yeah, I'm a big zombies guy. So I'm excited to see what they have in store. I think they said 2 zombies maps at launch, which I think has never been done before, if I can't remember. But yeah, I mean, I'm hyped for zombies the most.
I think for me as well, and I think I speak for most of us on here, if not all of us, Treyarch developing the game is always great for competitive Call of Duty. They've historically always been the kind of the actual development team that have came in and managed to merge between the competitive and the casual side pretty well. So I'm hoping for more of that. Obviously, if I'm not correct, Vaughn's not there anymore, is he?
No, he left.
Okay. But I mean, I think the studio there in general have always been very supportive of the competitive Call of Duty scene. So I'm interested to see what they've got in store for the CDL and just for Call of Duty esports in general. The Omni movement stuff, though, I imagine Hydra and Simp and Abizi sprinting at you sideways. It's not going to be fun.
I was talking to Octane, and because this feature is, to my knowledge, what we saw is a setting in game, right? Whether you can enable or disable omnidirectional movement. I have a feeling that we might end up seeing it on a GA list. I think it's very possible. It's one of those things where I think it's going to be a divisive subject once the game comes out, and we know how a lot of these pros are. I don't think they'll be able to agree on this feature, so I'm interested to see if it makes it past the round of GAs. I hope so, but I don't know.
I hope it doesn't. Treyarch's always been good with innovation. And on top of that, it doesn't really look game breaking. Plus, we're going to get to test it out ourselves when the betas and stuff like that drop. So we'll know. But I mean, it just seems like it'll make movement smoother. It'll make it way more fluid. I don't know. I really hope that we don't even touch it, just because COD's been just kind of stale, bro. It's been like the same thing for years. Like we need something new, anything that we can get. Even if we are like returning to certain old formulas, like just having innovation is always nice. But yeah, I don't know. I'm excited for the game.
Wheel's not always a good thing though, Chris. I feel like if you have something that's great, you should always just find a way to spark interest again. Like every story has been told essentially in the world. So if you could just find a way to tell the same stories over again in a new way.
My biggest letdown was Tac Sprint. Look, I feel like I like if we could just get rid of Tac Sprint. They did it in Cold War. I get it was made for Warzone. To me, that's what ruins multiplayer. In my personal opinion, I've never been a fan of Tac Sprint. But I think omnidirectional stuff is cool, and I just wish it would have replaced Tac Sprint entirely because I hate Tac Sprint. I don't know about you guys, but
makes micro timings weird.
Yeah.
I think as well, like you mentioned Tac Sprint, like are you going to be able to Tac Sprint backwards? Like surely you can't sprint at the same speed sideways and backwards as you can going forwards.
I think the normal sprint speed is what you'll be able to do omnidirectional, and then the Tac Sprint speed will be just forward. Because when they were doing like the showcase, I mean, unless they were just doing it wrong, he was it looked like he was doing a normal sprint and he was going sideways and backwards, which makes sense because it's like you're not running like full speed, like think of Tac Sprint as like dashing, like you're making a dash for it, right? And then like the sprinting sideways and stuff like that. When you look at it from a third person's perspective, it was more like he was just like strafing, like he wasn't like sprinting like this sideways, that like his legs were going this way. Nah, it was more like a sidestep, like a quick sidestep. You know what I mean?
I like your head bobbing there, Chris.
Bro, there's no imagine that like sideways. Like what? How's this guy's literally a fucking dancer?
Do you not think in these showcase things though? They usually have, no offense to anyone that's done this, but I swear they have absolute burgers that play the game in the showcases just to be like dumb down the gameplay.
I like it.
Maybe
I like it. It makes it simple. I think
that's the problem, though. AW was made without scuff controllers, and we saw what happened to AW movement when someone had an advanced controller. It was obviously made in a way that wasn't planned from design standpoint, right? Like, so it's going to be interesting. I think that's one of the big concerns is like, what is this movement going to look like in someone like Shotzzy, in Hydra's hands? Like, obviously the demo, it looks like, okay, yeah, it looks fine, but it's the curious thing is what happens when pros try to break it, right? And can it be a problem?
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see how the CDL players get their hands on it. But another topic that involves the CDL that I'd like to talk about today is the leak of the Call of Duty featuring Call of Duty featuring at the Esports World Cup in both MW3 and Warzone. Apparently around $3 million prize pool, so you'd assume probably around 50-50 split on that. But regardless, the rumoured dates are the 15th to the 18th of August for the MW3 multiplayer tournament, as leaked by Jake Hale, etc. Earlier this week. But what's your guys' thoughts on the Esports World Cup? Obviously being after the Call of Duty World Championship, potentially. I'm not really going to touch too much on Warzone, but like, I think it's going to be a really interesting dynamic in this off-season.
I think it's great, honestly, for culture. I think the biggest thing that we need to do with gaming in general is bring cultures together better and do it through IRL content. So I think it's an awesome opportunity for all of us to kind of go and travel to, when I say all of us, I mean the scene, right? Traveling to Saudi and experiencing their culture. And obviously, if they're willing to put up this prize pool for this event, we should be extremely grateful and we should be extremely appreciative as well. And I think all of us can speak. We're all well-seasoned travelers through gaming. I think when we all look back at our gaming careers, whether it's a high or a low, one of the things we all love is the experiences we had going to certain places and meeting certain people. And I think that that's one of the biggest things that could catalyst esports into a bigger group of audience and people moving forward. So the more international tournaments, the better. And the more that we do these things, I think it's golden opportunities for us as organizations, players, content creators, podcast hosts, whatever, to embrace these things and think outside the box with content as well, because I think culture is what binds people together.
100%. What's your thoughts on the event, Pat?
I mean, from a player standpoint, they're blessed. This is just another free champs for them. It's the one thing I don't like about it, and I mean, it's just who I am. like these players who otherwise don't qualify for COD champs, like the normal one, are gonna get a champs, right? Where these events typically like are prestigious. These big prize pool events, like they're more prestigious and you qualify for them. It's how the CDL format has always been. So, I mean, it's obviously great for the players. As far as the tournament as a whole, I really, it's hard for me to like judge it because I don't know what this format's going to look like. I don't know how teams are going to be picked. I don't know the rules. I don't know the qualification process. I don't want it to be one of those events where it's like kind of cheese and it's just, random teams put together. We've seen that in the past. And like, Mark, I think like there's that CDL rule that's like only 2 players from a CDL team can play with each other. Like a full squad can't play outside of a CDL thing. So there's a lot of questions for me, but obviously it's cool to see that there's a big prize for competing in Call of Duty outside of the standard COD champs that we've always had every year.
I'm really excited for it. Mike, I'm also curious how like the team composition is going to go, especially if it's rumored to be after champs, with like people trying to make roster changes, or are they going to just be locked with their CDL rosters if it does come down to that team, or is it going to be something like actual regions, like a World Cup? Like, would be kind of interesting. But either way, it's it's more money at the scene, and it's just it's going to be an awesome event considering every single esport is going to be there pretty much. So it's going to be good to be around so many big games. I think we're going to be actually drafting like hypothetical teams at the end of the episode. So make sure if you guys are watching, you guys actually stay tuned because that's going to be fun.
100%. I think that we should move into the CDL action now. We actually had quite a few interesting matches this weekend. First of all, though, I want to touch on one of the final games of the weekend, which was OpTic going against Minnesota, and what many would have thought would have been a clear-cut victory for OpTic, but the S&D map pool woes came to strike again, and unfortunately, OpTic weren't able to close out on a 5-3 lead game 5. They lost 6-5 in both S&D maps, which is unfortunate, but ultimately they still lose to S&Ds, which has been at their worst this year when they've been struggling to pick up as many victories as the likes of FaZe and Ultra, who have been a bit more consistent throughout the season. OpTic, when they have struggled, it's been in that S&D department. Do you think it's just them testing map pools again, or do you think there's a real issue there, Pat?
I mean, I don't doubt if they're testing map pools. I think every team that's in the top 4 are doing that, and they're going to do that regardless. But, I mean, to me, this is just an unacceptable loss. Losing 2 round 11s, like, they should have way more ice than this. They could play every single one of their worst maps, and they should still be able to beat Rocker with their eyes closed. So, from that standpoint, it was not good. And I talked a little bit about this before. My big fear with OpTic is they obviously were insane on that championship Sunday at Major 3, but it's like outside of that Sunday, this team to me still has a lot of flaws. And so I'm wondering if, these S&D woes are going to continue. They had an 0-2 weekend, right? Which is like, that's just unacceptable from a top 4 team, but losing to who they lost to. And they kind of are just donating points to these bottom 8 teams that are desperately in need of it. So it's a weird situation all around, because these are, like you said, like these are the guarantees. These top 4 teams beating these bottom 8. It's almost guarantees. So we'll have to see how they turn it around next week. But this loss was embarrassing.
Can I just stop you right there? Hold on, Chris. I'm sorry. Can I just stop you right there, Pat? When you say it's a guarantee, first of all, nothing in life is guaranteed. Second of all, the only thing that is guaranteed is death, taxes, and Pat having something negative to say about OpTic game. It's like you don't want to see them winning. If OpTic is winning, everyone's winning.
Doug, this is for all top 4 teams. This is for all top 4 teams.
Pat, when OpTic won and we had our episode, it was the best episode we had, which, by the way, if you guys want to keep seeing these episodes come, please subscribe. We appreciate it a lot. We all want to see everyone do well. Even when OpTic's doing well, we're doing well too. So if you guys want to subscribe, we'd greatly appreciate it. My honest thoughts, Pat, is you're partially right. Yes, OpTic Gaming should be beating Minnesota. Yes, if you're up 5-2 game 5 and you lose and you're the champions, I mean, that's just think about it from our lens, Pat. Like, none of us lose S&Ds when we're playing in championship teams 10 years ago. We're the old washed up has-beens. These guys are the guys doing it now for Ian. They went crazy. You're right. They went insane at Toronto on Championship Sunday. They iced up. And you should never be losing a game 5 with a 5-2 lead, like ever. Like
It's embarrassing.
I agree. I agree with that. Yes, that's the one point I'll agree with, Pat. But also at the same time, there is the idea, and we both know this, when you win a championship, taking the foot off the gas. And I think that they clearly took their foot off the gas. And I think that there's always going to be highs and lows with a championship team. And if the lows are losing online matches, like it's all about your perspective, right? Like if you're a team that won a championship and you lost 2 matches in a row and you're going into Major 4 and then you have champs, you don't want to let them to think, oh, well, it doesn't matter if we lose these online matches. It doesn't matter because then if we start losers bracket and we don't do well at this major, we have champs coming up and we're going to try hard at champs. You don't want to get into that mentality. So is it embarrassing to lose 2 matches in a row? Maybe, but like, I think there's a time and a place to like put your foot down. And I think now is that time where they'll just be like, okay, what the hell are we doing? Like, we just let Lamar go crazy on us game 5. We let Iceman be Iceman again. Why are we letting these people have theirs? We had ours, and let's get greedier. Let's keep on having ours. Let's have more and more and more and more success and more wins, because then it's going to make our content flow even better. And these 20v1s and this and that and the streams, we could keep on scaling this thing. And you want to lose to the Iceman? I think that's like the perspective, if I was on OpTic Gaming, that I'd want to take, and I'd make it into almost a joke.
Talk about content? Nah, I'm trolling. But
yeah, you do it all at the same time, Chris. You
I'm right there with you. I'm right there with
Make
you,
it fun.
Doug. I think they obviously let their foot off the gas pedal. Like they were, even if they only like looked extremely good on that Sunday, and they looked, you know, they were good before. Obviously, we rated them just as high as FaZe. They were a top 2 team going into the tournament. But we all had FaZe winning, and they just surprised the fuck out of all of us. But anyways, it's just championship hangover. You know, they had their win, and now they're just like, all right, you know, let's take a step back here. We're better than all of these guys. You know, they think they can get away with just being the better team and like coming out with wins and just cruising by until the next major where they can bring that intensity. But that's not the mentality that they should have. I mean, we've all been in that winner's seat. We've all had teams that have won multiple events in a row. Well, after you win that tournament, bro, you come back and you work even harder, because you know everybody's going to try to like catch up to you. Obviously, they could have been testing map pools, but I'm willing to bet that they're kind of just like brushing off their losses and they're just like not going as hard in practice and stuff like that, because not only are people just fed up with the game, you can see it in terms of like the amount of grinding that's been going on by, you know, the pros outside of like their practice. But they talk about it in like, you know, podcasts and interviews and stuff, or even just on streams. They'll be like, dude, it's so hard to go hard against like the bottom teams, you know, they're free. But all these bottom teams, like they're playing for everything. They're playing for the champs qualification spot. So those guys are like showing up like they're playing for a match at the major, while OpTic is really showing up like they're, you know, they're about to scrim like when they're playing their matches. So personally, I'm pretty sure they're probably already on it though. As a team, you know, whenever you lose that first match where you get upset, you're probably like, it's you know, it's not going to happen again. But you get upset twice, bro. Like you're raging. Like I don't care who you are. There's no excuse. Even if like in your head you're like, man, like those guys will never beat us again. But like in your head you're like, fuck, dude. Like I'm pissed. Like I can't let that happen again. So they'll probably be back on their shit next weekend.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it time and time again throughout the CDL and throughout Call of Duty history. Like, maintaining that level of success, winning event after event after event, has rarely happened, especially in the CDL era. So I think it's one of those ones now as well, another factor to add into it, because I agree with all your guys' points. I think when you are that number 1 team, everyone is watching what you're doing, every movement you're making, how you're breaking hills, and they're really studying your gameplay to a whole other level. So you need to continue to innovate, and these guys might be thinking, oh, the teams we're playing against are doing dumb stuff, but they actually could be, you know, evolving and improving their game. But yeah, I think they just need to get back on their bullshit, to put it simply. But they lost against Vegas last week, which is the next team that I want to talk about. They come in and win back-to-back against top 4 teams, winning against New York 3-0 this week. After New York had took out Seattle, which was, you know, who we said last week was probably our 5th best team. But now Vegas definitely enter that conversation. They've done what has anyone else won against the top 4 teams from outside this season back-to-back? I can't remember any.
Certainly not.
I don't think
Definitely
so,
not.
no.
So, I mean, incredibly impressive from Vegas. Last stage, when they made that roster change, we were like, what have they done? But ultimately, they look all right now. What do you think's changed?
Geo started fucking getting kills. He had like his performance graph. Like if you look at it, was like he went straight up when he came in, and then he fucking soared down to the bottom for like a month there. He started to fry again. Attach is doing well. Funny enough, Johnny it's a low sample size, but Johnny's actually like the number one player against the top 4 teams right now in terms of KD. He has the highest KD against any top 4 teams from any player in the league. So obviously a small sample size, but that's a pretty cool stat. Because I think they played him at the event as well. But
no, they were losers. They played against the top 4 team, I think 3 times. I think their first match when Johnny first came in, if I'm wrong, could have been like FaZe. It might have been like a Toronto, maybe.
Well, either way, he would have played well.
Yeah, I think they've played top 4 teams 2 or 3 times.
They played 11 maps, so 3 makes sense.
Yeah, they probably played him like 2-3 times.
Doug hates that stat.
Yeah.
Wait,
Either way.
What's that?
No, I'm joking. The old Johnny one. Him having the top performing KD against the top 4 teams.
Oh no, John. No, the thing about Johnny is like he thought he was better than what he was, and then we offered him to join the academy team, and he's like, "I don't want to play with you, Doug." And I'm like, "You suck. I'm gonna beat you." And then we beat him, and I put him in his place. And then he was like, "I respect you, Doug." And I'm like, "Johnny, I respect you too. Like it's all good." And then he retired me. Like he beat me, and then I retired. And he's like, "Doug, you're my boogeyman. You're my boogeyman, bro." I'm like, "Nah, it's your turn now. Like next up, bro." And I could see he's matured a lot over the last year and a half. So no, Johnny's my boy. Like in the beginning, it was a little rocky, but now I think we're pretty good friends. Like we have a lot of respect.
He's
and I'm happy for
definitely
the kid.
matured a lot more because he was teaming with him was endeavor sometimes, but I feel like he's a lot better now. But yeah, he's been doing his thing, man. But yeah, Gio's probably the main catalyst, I think, on this team because he made an insane impact when he first joined this team and then just fell off a fucking cliff. And then they all started getting shit on. But he's back. Johnny's been a solid piece. I don't honestly know, bro. Like, I want to sit here and we can break it down all we want, but like the level that Vegas is playing at right now, until they show me on LAN that they can do it, then like I'm just gonna chalk it up to online cheese, and they just want it more. Like
I will say that Virginia server complaint has been going around a few times. That I think it was Dashy who first tweeted out like a screenshot of Spotify of playing that song. They definitely, I think, are getting an I think they're definitely getting an advantage right now on the server selection. How big of a role that's playing, who knows? But to Chris's point, I think until they show it on LAN, we have to take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. Vegas definitely has an online team for sure. Like
if they go and place top 6 or like top 4, then fair play. But if they like go to the event again and place like last or top 8, then I'm just gonna chalk these wins up to them just playing well because they need points and online. Because I think they have like 70. I think they have like over 70% of their points made this season from online. Like they are the online squad. Like out of
there's somebody else. There's somebody else as well.
Miami, surely.
It's gotta be Miami.
Yeah,
because they were getting winners of the event. Yeah, they were. Well, I mean, they done all right last event, obviously, but the first 3 events, first 2 events, they were just coming in and getting double 3-0'd after starting in winners.
Yeah, actually, yeah. So Miami and Vegas, they are the online squads, but at least Miami's already showed something, so they got that much going for them.
I think with Vegas, like they're definitely gonna be like. I look at the team: Nero, dominant online; Geo, dominant online; Johnny, dominant online. I mean, I played with Johnny. That kid is dominant online.
He loves his gaming chair.
He loves it, bro. Like, oh my god, Johnny would give me fits. I would study.
And you smoked him on LAN?
Huh? Yeah, of course. But like, then he finally did get his get back 2 years later. He got it.
Doug used to call Johnny a cheater because of how good he was online.
100%. Yes. I was like, dude, this guy's got to be hacked up. Like, what are we doing here? But no, Johnny was definitely just a young kid who had a lot of talent, a lot of gunny, and he was just trying to find his footing. So I could definitely understand where he's coming from. And he's done, not only like, is he a great hard worker, and I don't think he gets credit for these things. He's a really hard working kid, but he's also willing to learn in other ways too. And that's the thing where a lot of players aren't. I think that a lot of players are too stubborn to to like be set in their ways. Johnny to me is a kid who's stubborn in terms of seeking the highest level of validation with truth and being the best he can be to a piece of a team. And I think that when he got this Vegas opportunity, he took it and ran with it. They did get dead last at the Lamb, but if you're coming back and you're beating the top 4 teams, if Dashy's tweeting out saying Virginia this, Virginia that, I think there's something to be said about that. I think there's truth to be said that the servers do benefit Vegas, but I think there's also a lot of truth to be saying that this team of 4 gels with each other. They work well, and Johnny's a fantastic piece. They had Purge, and they were middle of the pack. They had Asim for a few matches. It didn't seem to really work. And now they got Johnny, and it seems like it's the piece that they were looking for throughout the whole season. So, again, I'm happy for Johnny, honestly. I think he's doing a great job. I'm very proud of the way he's matured, especially over the last 2 years. And I just like seeing the kid do well. So, plus I like Attached too. So I like the team. I like all the people on the team, honestly, Gio and Nero too. I think they're really good people. I think they're all trying to get an upper echelon placing in the league and do well. And I think they have a great opportunity in front of them to prove a lot of people right, that not only are they good online, but they're also going to be good on land, and they're going to keep on getting better and improve.
So we're discussing dominant online teams, dominant LAN teams, but a team that has not been dominant online or on LAN, Boston. Doug.
Jesus.
My bad, Doug.
No, that was great. That was smooth.
I just had to cook them real quick.
Holy
but
shit.
I love Boston, loved all the guys over there, but they need to get cooked a little bit, They've got LAG next week as one of their games. The way I'm looking at this is they've got OpTic, they've got FaZe, they've got LAG, they've got Carolina. They need to pick up a win against LAG, because I'm thinking the other 3 games are looking a bit slow. I'm not going to lie. And if they were to go winless back-to-back stages, it's a bit of a worry. I feel like I ask this question every week, Doug, and it's not to try and piss you off, but what do you think's gone on wrong this week? They didn't even win a map.
I think there's a lot to be said. I mean, having a lot of changes throughout the year definitely hurts. Obviously, I think team dynamic is a big part of it. We have Priester running a sub now. When he was running an AR all year, now he's on the sub. We brought a Major Maniac to be a slow AR that's going to play, IGL and help out in S&D. The respawn was fantastic in the last iteration of the roster. But I think when you make a 2-person change, when you have not only a slow IGL main AR coming in, and then you have another player switching over to a submachine gun, that's going to be a big part of it too. So just the constant changes. I mean, it's just a bunch of different opinions all at the same time. And if you're going to have a team of 4 with changes, I mean, it's a very delicate thing. Like a team in general in COD, we all know, being a part of rosters, your team is very fragile. Like, it's a very delicate thing. Like, one small move makes or breaks a team for the better. I look back at one random example that just came to my head was Facento winning the MVP in IW, or Classic with the Rampart in BO4. Like that little thing, or the Long Barrel Bar in World War II with Gunless and Slashers team on Rise. Dude, like these little attachments, these little play calls, these little team dynamics, players switching roles, players coming in, players losing consistently. Mentally speaking, guys, like none of us have been through that before, right? Like none of us have been through that before. So we're on the outside of it, sitting here watching it, but on the inside of it,
watching. Sorry,
we're
it just
sitting there
triggered
watching,
something.
right, Chris? Like
it just triggered something in me.
I get it. I totally get it, Chris, because when you're sitting there watching, it hurts, but when you're the one that's really on the inside, it hurts the most, because you're the one who's enduring it. You're the one who's feeling it. You're the one who's afraid to open your phone and look at your social media. You're the one who has your anxiety pumping. Like, oh my God, what's going to happen next? Like, am I going to lose my job? Is this going to happen? Is my team going to hate me? Like, how do I need to move? How do I need to act? How do I need to talk? And it's like, it has to be one of the worst feelings in the world, honestly, to just be in that moment, in that room playing, right? So I feel for them. I can't wait to see them at the block party on June 22nd. I have a massive pull-up training session I'm going to be doing there. We got the OpTic watch party going down with OpTic versus Breach. We got T-Dog's podcast as well, Going Dark with Chopper. So we're excited for our block party on June 22nd, but I'd be really excited to see it win, because I don't think any of us want to see the team break the CDL losing record. And to your point, Mark, you said LAG, but isn't FaZe the next match, or is it LAG on the next match that they're playing?
No, they've got 2 matches. They're playing FaZe the next match, but I'm chalking that one up, mate. I'm not going to lie. I didn't even want to mention it.
Pause real quick. If they lose to FaZe, wouldn't that be the record?
Yeah, but then, I'm thinking they're losing the record anyway, mate, if I'm going to be honest.
So you think
I'm
they're
thinking
going to achieve the new losing record?
I think they're going to, smash the record.
So the way I look at it is pretty simple.
You're going to smash that shit.
If you want to, this is a philosophy I have in life. If you want to experience the highest highs, you must experience the lowest lows. I think all of us as players, unless if you were, I mean, Aches, you went through some of the lowest lows too, but like in the beginning of your career, it was really just the highest highs. But I really do think that if you want to get those highest highs, you have to experience the lowest lows, and you got to just keep it 100. Like if you're a player in a team, you keep it 100. If you're a coach, you keep it 100. If you're whoever, like, I don't know, like my opinion, I look at success and I never lied for it. I never cheated for it. I never stole for it. I kept it 100. I always would keep things 100. Internally, when I play with you, Pat, you annoyed the hell out of me, but you kept it 100 with me and I listened to you. Pat, Chris, like you annoyed the hell out of me too. We bring in Damon to make you happy. He annoyed the hell out of me too. I was like, you know what? Like, let me keep it 100. These guys know winning too. So like, I'm let my ego listen to them. So like, if you just keep it 100 as a player, I think it gives you a lot of sense of confidence. And I feel like with our team, with the roster changes happening, with the role changes happening, players coming in, players getting dropped. Obviously, with the old generation losing, 1-11 in Search and Destroy, they were really good in Respawn, and then it's just you're losing all these S&Ds. Like, it's crazy to me, honestly. It's actually insane, and it's a perfect storm for it to get to this point. So yeah, I mean, am I disappointed in it? Hell yeah, I am. But like, I'm not afraid of talking about it or accepting it or moving on from it and looking forward. Like, it sucks, but there's nothing you can do about it other than embrace it.
It's the one positive to think about, though, that we talked about at the start of the show, obviously. If this Esports World Cup is happening, they have that to play for. And you never know. The team could somehow turn a corner at that point. Somehow, some way be a top 4 team. You never know. They could end up winning more prize money than LAG if they done well at that event, for example. So you never know.
Things change quick, Mark, if you think about it. I mean, dude, how long ago was it? Who was the losing streak? It was, help me out here. It was Vegas.
I don't know.
Vegas, yeah.
Vegas.
Yeah,
so it's like you could, like, dude, things change quick, man. Like, yeah, it sucks when you're in the midst of it, but things do change fast. So you just got to be optimistic. Who
do you guys have sneaking in the top 8 now then? Now that it's starting to shape up, we've obviously only got a couple weeks more matches now.
Boston 100%. We're going to win every match to end the season, and we're going to win and then go to champs and then win champs. Come on, Mark.
Right. The way I see it personally is I'm almost close to taking LAG out of it, but at the end of the day, it's still very much all to play for. But I'm thinking probably, obviously, Boston not making it, LAG. I think I could see Vegas sneaking in there over Minnesota. And then, you know, Carolina being the other team that are sort of in the bottom 4. So Minnesota, Carolina, LAG, and Boston not making it. What do you guys think?
Carolina. Who's not going to make it?
I got LAG and Boston for sure not making it.
LAG, Boston. Honestly, I have a feeling that Rocker won't make it. I just have a feeling they won't. I think Ravens is going to make it.
Carolina and Vegas, last one, Chris. You think Thieves gets in?
Yeah, Thieves is going to get in. Ravens is just good on land, bro. Like, I have faith that they will place well. If they can keep this online race tight, then when they get to land, bro, they're going to have a good shot. Because I feel again, it's like Vegas is not good on land.
They got screwed by Rocker. They got screwed by Rocker in Vegas getting these wins against OpTic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't think they have the head-to-heads now either.
Yeah, they're gonna have to outplace them points-wise, which I think if they do get to the major, they will.
But it's also going to depend on online. Like, if Carolina don't basically win out, like, they won't even have enough point differential to outplace them by 1 at the event to pass them.
Who does Ravens play? Like, they have one more top 8 game, or like they have one more top 4 team game.
I think they have like they play like Seattle and
I'll check right now. They've got OpTic. Are you talking about Ravens? Ravens have OpTic, Miami, and
Breach.
Yeah.
So the OpTic one we assume is an L, and then Miami could be close. Like,
it's tough that they don't play any of the teams they need to beat, like to like get a step over them.
I mean, Miami could be in the conversation if they're bad at LAN again.
If they get fucking World Star 360.
And Legion kind of have. I mean, Legion plays Seattle, but then they play LAG and Thieves and
online?
Rocker. So it's like, yeah, online. So there's a lot of teams in that bubble that I just mentioned, like either Legion, Thieves, Legion, Rocker. Like, those are both. You know, whoever wins that is bad for Carolina. Both are bad outcomes. And then Vegas should get a free win against LAG, right? So it's like, I think they're in trouble.
I think to call it, Pat, just based off your knowledge and what you just said, I think Legion's going to continue doing very well online. I mean, they just won versus 2 top 4 teams in dominant fashion in the last series versus New York. I know this team is going to play well, especially online, and I think they're going to farm a good amount of points. I think they'll finish 3-1. They might even win out, to be honest. I think 3-1. But Carolina is going to be in a big hole, I feel, going into the final major. And to your point, Chris, I think Carolina will show up at the major and they will play well. And I think it's going to come down to a very interesting series where Carolina has to win a series to qualify, and it might go the distance. That's what I'm going to think. I think we could all kind of agree, unfortunately, that the bottom 2 are going to be LAG and Boston. And then I think the last one, it just feels like Minnesota is going to be, I mean, they did beat OpTic, but I kind of agree with you, Chris. I really do think it's going to come down to Vegas and Carolina for the last spot. I think it's going to be Carolina having to show up on land because Vegas will do well in these last matches online. And I also don't really have a lot of confidence in Vegas going to the top 4 or maybe even the top 6 on land, but who knows? I mean, I do have a lot of confidence in Vegas making champs.
I think it's going to be Rocker, Ravens, Gorillas, Breach. That's my bottom 4.
I agree.
With Miami, Seattle, Thieves, and Vegas qualifying.
Yeah. I think one thing that's good about the CDL this year, unlike previous years, we've obviously gave them a lot of criticism in terms of the bottom 8, but going into this part of the season, usually it's only between 1 or 2 teams. There's a lot that can happen here. It's probably 6 teams that are in the conversation where it wouldn't be anything super crazy to see, big swings happen. And I think that's one positive that's going to be, making this major 4 so interesting going into it, to be honest. But moving on to our next topic, guys. We sort of hinted at it at the start of the show, but we have seen some hypothetical Esports World Cup things on Twitter and social media, and a lot of people have been, sort of mentioning that it could be national teams. I mean, to be honest, we don't know if that's going to happen. It might just be normal squads, but obviously we're still to find the format. But we thought it'd be a cool idea to go through here, and we've sort of made 8 makeshift squads, and we're going to basically build the rosters. So I'll explain how we're going to do it. We're going to have a maximum of 2 CDL, 2 players per CDL franchise. So you can't just go the USA team as Atlanta FaZe. That would be boring. So we're going to do a USA A and B team. Then we're going to do Team Canada, Team Central and South America, Team UK, Team France, Team Spain, and then rest of the world. The reason we're doing that is because, honestly, there's some people like Kleenex, for example, who's Danish, and generally there's not been a single other Danish player that's attended an event this year. So I've went and looked back at that. So there's no point in, having those guys tossed to the side. So we'll just do a little rest of the world team. Again, this is all hypothetical. So we'll start off with the USA A team. So bear in mind, we can only pick 2 CDL players per franchise. Who would you guys slot in there in the main AR position? Are we thinking Scrap?
Is this USA 1?
Insight? Yeah, this is USA 1. This is the A team. This is the God Squad.
Scrap got to be USA 1, right? He got to be USA 1 for
Scrap
sure.
is USA 1, bro.
Yeah, who's his main then?
Scrap.
Scrap?
I guess,
or Scrap playing flex?
We're doing Scrap, and we're doing Celium.
You want Scrap on the flex?
Yes.
What about Draws? You want him on USA 2?
He's going to be on USA. Listen, we'll do USA 1. USA 2 is going to... USA 2, I have an interesting squad.
And then looking at the SMG, do we all agree on that? Scrap and Cell?
Yeah. Pat?
All right.
Yeah, I'm going to lock that in.
Yeah, and then moving into the SMGs, I think, we got to have Simp in there, surely, as the second FaZe player.
For sure. We'll do second FaZe player Simp, and then...
Whoa.
I say we go Hydra.
He's French.
Is Hydra going to be...
Oh, that's true.
You're trolling, Pat.
Squad.
You are trolling.
It's good.
He's French, I forgot.
Nah, there's no way. You've got to be trolling there, Pat.
He's a New Yorker now, man.
He's a New Yorker. He's living in Texas, dude.
We got Simp, and then we got... it's got to be what, Shotzzy?
Yeah, it'd probably have to be Shotzzy.
Or Envoy? I hope he Actually, USA 2 is going to be great. I'm not even going to...
USA 1 has to be Simp,
USA
Shotzzy,
1
Shelly, and
is
Scrap.
It's Shotzzy. We're throwing Shotzzy on USA 1. USA 2, I already got 3/4 of the team. Y'all want to hear it?
Yeah, go on.
Kenny, Draza,
Yeah.
Envoy, and 1. It's only Thieves. The
What
old
about
Thieves.
Abizi?
Abizi. There you go.
Envoy
That's
Abizi?
USA too. That's literally yeah. That's I guess
Pred's
that's,
on OpTic, so you can't say Pred. Simps on
Can't
main
say-
one.
He's also
Well, yeah, you
Australian.
can't say Pred. He's
Clean it. I
Australian.
think
You
Envoy
can't
makes
say.
sense.
I mean, the only people that get left out here are like Sib, Caesar, and like Kismet, but like they've only had like recent success. I think the rest of the teams and players have probably outweighed their success in like prior years and consistency.
Lock him in, Chris. That's godlike.
It's literally fucking the old Thieves plus Abizi. That's insane.
That's a good team.
All right. I think we've locked both the USA teams in. Now we'll move on to Canada. And again, there's not that many players here, so this might be kind of clear cut, to be honest. I think you obviously have Dashy in there. He's got to be the main AR.
Dashy #1.
And then you've got a tough decision to make as the second AR. Are we going Diamond Con? Are we going and Gunless on a sub? Or are we going and leaving one of those two out? Because I feel like you got to have both of them in there, but one of them is going to have to run a sub.
Can we do
Unfortunately-
Pierce? Can we do Gunless for it? Lock it in?
Nah, I think we got to do Illy, bro.
Yeah, I would probably go Illy here too.
Oh, so we're not going recency bias, right? We're just going.
Nah.
We can just go all time.
we're
Well,
going
Illy and Dashy are
all-time.
friends too, and they're like they kinda
Dashy
came
Illy
up
might be a
together.
better
Yeah.
duo. They
Yeah.
were on OpTic before. You know, we got a little.
And
In
then
terms
who are
of
the subs?
SMGs, I think we're cooked here. We got ASIM, and then like I don't even know any other Canadian like SMGs. Exotic's like the only one that comes to mind.
It's kind of
Is
like
there
a
anybody
flex. He
else?
was an AR half the time though.
Yeah, that's true.
Is there any
Yeah.
other SMG from Canada? We used to have good old Royalty, but he's not playing anymore. He's
I
retired.
miss Royalty. He still plays ranked. He's still playing ranked at times. So
Royalty was fucking godlike.
he's active.
He was at one point.
Can we
but
put
I
ASIM
think,
and Royalty on it just because Royalty's a true sub?
I mean, we could, but we're
Exotic's a sub
talking
on
like
this game.
we're talking like this
Canada team is
MW3.
shocked.
Canada's
Yeah.
jocked. I mean, there's a lot of.
Can we just get the
regions that are
best
just
players
kinda
then
jocked.
on the team because they're the most active, relevant players? Like we can get Gunless on the sub, Diamond Con and Dashy.
We
on
could
the
do
ARs,
Illy
and
on the
have
sub.
ASIM.
Illy ran MP5 in Modern Warfare 2019.
So Illy,
Cheese
ASIM,
it.
and then Gunless and
Illy,
Dashy.
ASIM, Gunless, and Dashy. Yeah.
Because I feel like Pierce needs to get love. He's a 4-time MVP. He is back in the league. He won in challengers this year. Like we got to put Gunless on this team. I feel
He
Yeah,
just
that's
played well
Gunless and
against OpTic.
Dashy though.
it doesn't
Ooh.
sound like it's ideal, but it is the best like Canadian success, right?
Yeah, I'm down to put him on it, but with the understanding that these guys are getting cooked.
Like, can we have Diamond Con be on the sub bench just because he
No.
kind of does what everyone does in a way?
No,
Has
we
good
can't.
comps? He won an MVP in challengers, Pat.
And he's getting world start in the league right now.
I mean, the whole team isn't like the best team though.
That's fair.
What about the Central and South America?
Yeah, there's honestly like you guys might know better than me. I've looked online to see which players are sort of from that region. There was only like 6 names for people who have competed at recent events. Obviously, the main one being Snoopy, part of the Boston Breach. Like
Trooper, Snoopy, and KB are staples here.
okay,
my
And then-
opinion.
Hooper, Snoopy, KB. I agree. We got to
Who's
put
their-
Bink on that,
who's
right?
their- I mean, I feel like it would be Bink, but are there any other like Hispanic origin gamers? Looney, where's Looney?
Thresh
at?
retired.
yeah, actually,
Get
I'm
Dan.
putting Dan on that roster, mate.
Let's go. We got Dan.
Him and
on
Snoopy,
there.
him and
But
Snoopy
he-
at the SMG duo.
I would like
but
that.
he was born in the States.
Yeah, that's true. That's facts.
Yeah, it's cooked. I mean, if Bink was born in Mexico, I'd put Bink on there. But Bink is Hispanic, but I don't know if he was born in this.
I'm not gonna lie. I have no clue about some of these players if they're actually been born, where they were born in Mexico or born in Colombia, or wherever they were born, or if it's just what they identify. Because some people have that on their COD Gamepedias. So
I
the
feel like there
players I
used to
wrote
be
this-
a South American team though. No.
Well, that
what
the team
about-
that Snoopy was on.
there's current Latin.
No.
teams,
Yeah,
like-
but that's what I'm saying. What was that one LatAm team that like was running the challengers
Oh,
because
I
they were
remember-
hose fucking from like Guadalupe?
Guadalupe, even Guadalajara or some shit.
Yeah, I don't
Wait,
remember what it was.
you
But you
know
know what I'm
what's
talking about, right?
crazy?
They were like
No,
they were
do you
hose
remember-
fucking in all the challenger
Okay,
tournaments,
you
shitting
know
on people.
Crazy? What's crazy? There used to be this like Hispanic player. His name used to be Nike, bro. He used to play back in AW, and he
Bro,
was
Doug,
godlike.
I know you know, bro. What was that team that was like
What year?
in Cold War? I think it was
It's
Cold
like,
War.
yeah, was it Alan 4D?
I don't remember the
That was
names.
the only ones, right,
Cold
Chris?
War.
In Cold War.
Bro,
Cold
they
War.
they ran tournaments, bro.
Drawing blanks here.
Bro, they would host fuck and people would lose full. It was for sure in Cold War.
Yeah.
Cold War challengers.
Wait, we might actually be getting bailed out here.
I'm looking it up, bro.
Wait, hold on. This is 2018 season.
I don't even know any of these teams, bro.
All right, we need to actually just build a roster here because we're taking quite some time.
All right,
Roger,
let's just go with the list that MarkyB has generously put down for us. I say we do Rupert, Snoopy, KB, and
It's gotta be Bink.
Bink is definitely a great shout, and I think he would kind of keep this team together as fundamentals. So yeah, I think Bink would be great.
All right, and now we'll move on to the UK roster.
Oh, did you guys know I got third at the first Cold War Challenger Cup? I didn't know
Really?
that. Me,
You did.
Classic, Saints, and Karma. Let's go, guys.
God's sake. I mean, let's move on to the UK team now. I think for me, an insta-lock is Insight on main AR. I think then between the flexes, you've got a choice between Nasty, Beans, Cammy, Mythics. But I think you're kind of probably taking Mythics out of the conversation.
Are we
to be
going
honest.
like what are we going off of here? Like,
Honestly,
Beans is an
bro,
active player.
This is them competing at the Esports
I mean,
World Cup on MW3.
It's gotta be Cammy, bro. Wait, yeah.
No, it's
MW3?
on MW3. This is a team that's going to compete at the Esports World Cup.
Listen,
That's what
bro,
we got to
give
think
me
about.
insight.
I mean,
give
we
me-
put Illy on here, and he's not even.
Nah,
playing,
we're getting Wee Man, bro. Like we're giving him his time to shine. That guy is godlike.
Inside
but
and Wee Man
also-
together.
Inside and Wee
That
Man
is a
might be-
stiff
might-
AR
might-
duo, bro.
Inside and Wee Man might get cooked.
That is
That's
a
a
slow
crazy
AR
shout.
duo.
All right, we gotta do Inside and Cammy, bro, and call it, bro. We just gotta bring back the fucking Toronto. Actually, we're just bringing back the old Toronto Ultra. We got Insight, we got Cammy, we got Bance, and then
Well,
who's
we got
the-
Hexy.
We're making
I
the
They
mean,
team
never
man
played
team.
together. They never
I mean,
played together. We had Toby, but
we might have to get Hixie. That would make the most sense.
that would be a vibey squad. I'm not going to lie. That would definitely
that
be
would
a vibey
actually
squad.
be a good squad.
Wait, so
I'll
is it
coach it.
Insight,
Fuck it,
Cammy,
let's win it.
Hixie, and Bance?
Nah, honestly, I'm not going to
Cammy,
lie.
Insight.
I think Ben Beans deserves some potential gas here. I know he's not won a game season.
I mean, it's cooked, bro. It's him or Cammy.
yeah, I mean, I think Cammy probably meshes better with Jamie. So
I mean,
I'd probably,
it's like the Toronto team that's done really well together. So I feel like you got to bring Cammy in just because of that.
yeah, true.
Bance, Insight, Cammy makes a lot of sense together.
All right. Locking in that team for the UK squad. Now we move on to the French team. So there's 5 names I wrote down this list here, and I think this team is cut and dry again, right? We've got Linz, Brezzy, Hydra, and Cobra. I think that's the team right there. Twiz, I put him down as well, but honestly, he doesn't make the squad in my opinion. I think you've got Cobra on the main, Brezzy on the flex, Hydra and Linz on SMG, and I actually think that team potentially could be better than the UK team, and I know that's crazy for me to say that, but I think that team might actually put up a good fight against the UK squad.
I love the team because Cobra's a great fundamental player. Hydra's, I mean, the first European world champion of all time. I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
Brezzy,
Cobra was a sub.
he
Well, no,
wasn't he?
Well, no, he's an AR now for
He's
sure.
an AR now.
Okay, well, he plays good COD though. I mean, that
I watch him every day, so I've not seen him run a sub yet. So
Yeah,
that boy
Okay.
plays good COD, man. He's a good player. Linz is godlike as well, and dude, Brezzy doesn't get love. I can't stand the hate on Brezzy. Pat,
What? He was getting
Chris.
0.6s.
Dude,
and
you
then
have
was
he
getting
was-
0.6s,
fried.
man. You getting fried, bro. Brezzy will be the guy that he reminds me of like. First of all, he got top 4 champs in BO4 on Jordan General's system, right? Second of all, this boy's won in
I
challengers.
mean, he's
Third
not
of all,
awful. We're not saying he's awful. He's just getting fried right now.
Pat, stats are skewed based off the players on a team.
Yeah, but there's
Period.
eye test.
Yeah, but you dominated because you created the system, had the best players at the same time. So of course you're going to get the stats. The CDL.
Yeah,
doesn't
but there's
work that
eye
way anymore.
test.
Yes, there is eye test, Pat. You need to look at everything.
He
that
doesn't
goes
pass the
into
eye
it.
test.
Brezzy?
Not my eye test.
Yeah, but you don't have to look flashy to win, Pat. You don't have to look flashy. Brezzy will be the guy that lays down, plays that annoying off angle because he's
I don't
so
think I've
Why,
seen
why is he?
Brezzy
Why is he
prone once
laying
this-
down?
because he
Bro,
loves it. He's like Pred. He's just
I
slower.
don't think Brezzy's prone once. No bullshit. I think he's just literally
Brezzy's always proning. Brezzy loves to prone and lay down and
I
hold
think
long.
Doug
off
is just
angles.
yapping, but yeah, that's probably
I'm
the
not.
best
He
roster
holds
we're
the
gonna
lane
get.
No, he does. He does.
So
He
might be yapping,
Like
bro.
unless we got some like fucking I don't even unless we got some
Doug,
like
speaking
French
facts.
dessert.
I don't
unless
like
we got
the
some
Brezzy
French
hate.
desserts or something. Like
I
we
vouch
can't
for
replace
Brezzy.
Brezzy.
I like Brezzy.
Like can we get somebody named like creme brulee on the roster or something? And you get
No.
when
Creme
you,
Brezzy's
brulee
staying.
is crazy.
bro, we went to Paris, bro. The desserts there were insane.
Dude, we're
Oh,
all
I
Brezzy
just
topic,
missed that,
man.
down lane.
Yeah,
down
hold
one
on.
of that
Let's
off
keep
angles.
let's keep this show moving, right? Let's move on to the Spanish COD team. I think we'll all agree on
Sorry,
the
I'm a little
French
hungry.
team. Nah, it's all good, Chris. It's all good. We'll talk about Spain now, and obviously, if you want to continue talking about food, they got some good paella over there. But that's not what we're discussing today. We're talking COD rosters. We've got Vico, Lucky, Metals, and Real, obviously on the Heretics, but we can only include 2 players from this roster. Remember, that was the initial rules. So some of the other players to mention, even though Eric Boom is a signed sub, we'll let him in the conversation to just not make it boring, right? You've got Eric Boom, Journey, Super, Yako, Renker, and Sucre, or Sucre, however you want to
Metals
say it.
and Real look like the best on their roster right
Yeah,
now.
they gotta be.
Yeah,
Okay.
they got to be.
Metals
honest.
But
and
the
Real.
problem is we have to be careful because even though they are like the best on their team, like we got to look at the rest of the ARs and like
Nah.
compare. And I think the only other AR I'd put with them is Rencor. Is like on that level is Rencor.
Super.
Who's Rencor?
Do you like Super?
Super's
Mark?
not an AR, is he? He was a sub last year. Is he?
You
a
see
sub,
Super.
He's
Is
running
he
an
an
AR
AR
this year. He's an AR this
Oh
year.
shit!
So
Alright, so
I've seen him do
put
crazy
down.
things on land.
yeah, I think it makes most sense to just have the SMGs from Heretics because I think that's the biggest. Like, you'd probably say that they are like the
Well,
two
then you would
best
say
players.
Vico and Real.
Oh, Vico?
I like the duo. I like the duo.
Metals
Vico
has
Real's a
been
good duo.
Vico Real's a good duo, but Metals has been running an AR like this, like at like now. That's when he's been playing good. He
He's
was
been
getting
frying. Metal's been
cooked with
frying.
the sub, bro. He's been getting cooked.
Yeah, but, I mean, I think you've got maybe more of a fall off if you like have to include someone like Yako or Journey on the subs. To be honest, 'cause
Nah,
I think
you-
that
That well,
Or
then,
Eric
yeah,
Boom.
then if you're so then who do you want? Like, do you want to take a AR from the Spanish team currently, or do you want to like just get ARs from challengers?
although I do think that that Metals is obviously unbelievable, I think I would probably take Real Vico and then take Super and Rencor. But
I
just
like that,
because
Mark. Lock that
just-
in.
Dude, but
Lock that in.
Metals has been way better than Vickle.
Yeah, but Vickle enables him,
I mean,
and he works with Real.
wait, hold on. Actually, no, chalk this. We're following the exact roles that they're currently playing, but Metals can run a sub. He just probably moved to AR because it made most sense for the team.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I'm
but he was
chalking
getting
Vickle.
cooked, bro. He
And-
was
and
point
Metals-
scoring, bro.
and
He
Metals
was point
has their-
sixing.
Metals has their more, if we're talking like long running, like part of Heretics back in the day, like he should be considered here over
Him and,
Vickle.
him and Lucky have the most long running out of everyone.
Why don't we have Vickle and Metals and just keep Real out of it then? Why are we putting Real in this?
We
No,
can't
Real was
disrespect
gone.
Lucky.
Real's
Lucky-
got only
Lucky
hope they
hasn't-
have.
Lucky hasn't been flashy, but Lucky
Yeah.
has been consistent too.
Real was a
Bro,
lock.
It's Real and Metals in pick 2. I go Super and Yako.
Oh shit!
I would
okay.
do Vickle Real with Super and Yako, like what Marky said. To be honest,
I'm not putting Yako on my team. I'm
What
going.
Rencor,
do you have
sorry,
against
Rencor,
Jocko?
Rencor.
I'm doing Rencor, bro. I'm
Yeah,
not gonna
Rencor
lie.
and Super. Rencor,
Wait, what do you
Super,
guys
Real,
have against
Vickle.
Jocko?
You don't
I've-
even know
no, I've-
Yako, bro. This guy's just-
Mark sees it better than we do.
This
He
guy,
watches them play
this guy
every day.
Pat just saw a name and just said,
Yeah,
Yako.
nah. Pat's trolling. Pat's trolling.
Wait,
for sure.
no, I just think he would be better in a World Cup event. I'm all I'm saying.
Oh,
That
right,
doesn't
but
even
pressure,
know.
pressure on, lights on,
He
lights
just saw-
on.
he just saw a name. It's like, yo, this sounds like a fun name, Yako.
Bro, he could be gross.
Wait, Yako's played for years. He's actually decent. I'm
I'm saying on this squad, he could be gross.
right. Anyway, right, okay,
Why?
right. We'll go. Like I'm taking over here. Right. I think Metals Real, and then, but Metals is running a
Rencor.
sub. I know you're saying he was getting chokeslammed, but then I'm getting Super and Rencor.
Isn't Metals too
That's-
aggro though? Because I feel like Vickle's going to take the routes for Real. Don't you think that some duo with Real and Vickle will be better than Metals and Real? Just because Metals is a
Bro,
better
honestly,
player?
I'm throwing the wild
Metals'
card
stats
out
is
here,
getting
bro.
enabled
I'm
by
going
Vickle's
Lucky.
routes.
I'm going Lucky, Metals, Super back on the sub, and Journey, bro.
Oh fucking
No,
hell.
let's just let's let Mark have this one. Let Mark
All right,
put this
Mark,
team
you got
together.
this.
We all
Oh,
have
you guys are
different
giving me
opinions.
this one?
Yeah, you
All
take
right,
this.
yeah.
You are the
take it.
you are now the Spanish conquistador, bro. Like, have fun.
Let's go. Right, I'm doing Metals Real, just pure gunny, and then we're gonna have Super and Rancor. They're setting pace with ARs. Godlike
W.
squad.
Lock it
All
in.
I like it.
Right, now we're moving on to the last squad we've got. There's some big players, some
I
big
got
names
Hydra.
here. You've got Hydra. Well, he's unfortunately already on the French team,
he's
so he won't be on there.
Dude, what are you saying, Pat?
Right.
I'm just
So I'm
throwing you guys some curveballs. Make
So,
sure you're paying
again,
attention.
I looked at the players from the last two events again. So players that have played from the rest of the world
Bro,
region:
this one's
Pred,
easy.
Abuser, Kleenex, Denza, Cruz, Fighter, Setsy. I just threw some Australians in there.
This
then.
one's easy.
Yeah,
Fred,
Fred,
Abuser,
Abuser,
Kleenex.
Kleenex.
Kleenex for sure.
And
Yo,
Yo, this actually might be a solid team, though.
And then we got
actually. Hold
the
on.
and then we got the wild card pick. Listen, bro,
Cruz.
I'm going Buzzo. Imagine.
No,
Wait, no,
dude,
this is actually wait. Pred, Kleenex, Abuza is kind of they're putting
that's a
pace.
godlike. That's a
They
godlike
need
team. Of
they
three.
need an
They need a
AR.
fundamental slow player that's going to put up the point 8 in the comms. Give us Cruz.
That's what I'm thinking.
Cruz
no,
is a
no,
fighter,
no,
bro.
no,
Cruz is
whoa,
a
no,
fighter. He's
they
a
don't
winner.
need. They don't. No. Abuza is running main on this squad. They need a nice flex here.
Yeah, but
And I'm
Cruz is going to
going-
fill the gaps perfectly for
No, no,
Abuza.
no.
He's going to enable it.
Listen,
Trust me,
I've seen a lot of COD down under. I'm going Fida.
dude.
If
Fuck, is he the fuck you guy?
Yeah.
if the world needs an Australian, I'm picking Fida.
Yeah, no, that is facts. He is the OG GOAT, to be fair. So I'm actually kind of wanting to sway towards that as well.
He is
I was thinking
What about Shock? Why is Shock not on this list?
he's not playing anymore. You know what I mean? So he's not going to have the reps in MW3. Fighters actually still go to
what
events.
about what was his name? Luca something? Luca?
Yeah, let's put a man of chicken on there, brothers.
Bro, Fida is the guy. He's the
It's
guy.
fine, a man of chicken.
No,
though.
if
Like,
we want to
that's-
win, we got to put Cruz in right now. Is Fighter still playing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Cruz. Cruz.
I do
what did
I do
Fido
think-
place at Toronto? Do you know?
Yeah, I seen him on the Saturday night. I don't think it was great.
Bro, Fida has been
Like,
cooking
great.
from Australia for years.
Pat,
Yeah.
Cruz is the guy. Trust.
Fido is the
Nah.
original.
No.
Fido is the original Australian fucking fighter. Literally fighter, bro. He's
It's either
literally-
the relevant
set
one or
these
the
guys
OG one.
straight.
Which one are we
Set
taking?
these guys straight, Mark. Set these guys straight.
Like, are
Right,
you gonna,
listen.
Mark,
are
you
gonna
choose this
take-
one too. It's either
are you
relevant or
gonna
the
take-
OG. 'Cause you can't go wrong here. You
Are you
can't
gonna
go-
take-
Nah. There's three different issues I have here, right? So one of the guys I have on the list is one of my players. So there's conflicting things there, but he's not a flex, so I'm going to cross him off for that. We've got Cruz and Fighter. Cruz, I know for a fact, has good comms, has some good fundies. This team is quite an aggressive squad. Maybe they need some comms to get.
They
spanked,
need
but
a veteran. They're all
But they
like
do need
young
a veteran.
guns.
They do need a veteran. And Fighter and Pred have played together before, so
Don't let
there's
Pat
that,
sway you, Mark. Don't let
there's
him
that,
sway
there's
you.
that, there's that chem there. I think on this game though, I'm gonna have to back Cruz. I'm not gonna lie.
Yes.
I'm gonna have to back Cruz.
Yes.
Fida, if you're
Fi-
watching this, bro, just know.
No, we love you, Fighter. We do.
Listen. He should be potentially, coming in at some point. Maybe if in-game substitutions
Bro,
are allowed to
I can't
happen.
believe you guys are disrespecting my Australian goat Buzzo, man.
Yeah, where is
He
Buzzo?
doesn't
I love
play
you.
anymore.
I love Buzzo.
All right.
Pat,
Wait, actually, get Dens on the roster. Hold up.
He
Dens?
doesn't play anymore either.
Dens and Abuza? Too slow.
Yeah, that's
Wait,
a
Chris,
sluggy squad.
you know me and Buzzo arm wrestled at Ghost Champs?
Did you win?
Yeah.
Nice.
He was tough, though.
All right, I'm on
Sure.
Buzzo's Twitter. He
I'm
hasn't
sure
tweeted
he-
in a year and a
I'm
half.
sure he
Wait.
fights kangaroos and shit. Like, he's
Wait,
gotta
hold
be
on.
strong.
I love Buzzo.
Doug left something out of that story. Then I walked in and beat them both at the same time.
No.
I didn't want you to expose
At the same
this
time,
part.
I was literally cross-armed like this, just slamming them both.
Wait. Listen, Buzzo's last tweet. I'm putting together a training program that covers every basic movement pattern at a regressed level, which is perfect for people looking to restructure how their body functions. Low back pain, weak core, sore shoulders. If you want to be a part of this program for free, hit him up.
You're reading it like an ad.
Buzzo is jacked as he is.
Welcome
cracked,
back
by
to
the way.
Buzzo's Picks. Right,
Bro,
anyway.
And that's
I gotta keep this moving.
Listen, that reaffirmed my pick in Fida. Because
All
Buzzo had Fida on the training program.
All right. I think that's our teams locked in now, guys. Obviously, I've went with Cruz. I think Ormo mentioned Fighter there. He's in the conversation for sure for the vibes of Pred, but that's our rest of the world squad locked in, and that is
So who do
our
we have
8
winning?
teams.
That
we have
seems
winning?
godlike.
USA won.
Nah, I got USA 2.
Actually, USA 2 just has mega chem, bro. Like, it's
USA 2 has
literally
the
an
chem.
old roster, bro.
USA 1 is an A-list squad, though.
Nah, I think you got to go USA 1. I think probably second place. I'd have. It's gonna be a toss up in my opinion between the Canadians, the French, and the UK team. I think that I'd
I'm
probably
going
favour
rest of the world, second place, and they're winning every S&D. Do you
Okay, so
remember,
rest of the
Mark?
world's squad
Mark,
is
do you remember
insane.
Ghost Champs when
Oh, the Australians had some nutty S&D.
what was their team name there?
Trident T1 Daughters?
Yeah, T1 Daughters.
They
They
get
won all their
T6 or something?
searches. I think they got like T6.
They
sounds
got
right.
top
T6.
6, and they were just winning every S&D, bro.
Who was on that team?
They don't even. I don't think any
Oh.
of them
They
play
don't
anymore.
play anymore.
Well, Dens was one of them. Dens was one of them.
Wait,
Obviously,
Dens was on that team.
I
yeah,
think he
Dens was
was.
on that team. Yeah, he was.
Was it
was
Buzzo, Dens, Fida, and Shocks?
Nah,
No,
not that team. It was Chillers.
Iskatu,
Iskatu,
right?
Iskatu
I know-
was one of them. I
No,
think.
it was
Was it Chilean?
Iskatu, Chilean, Dins, and Damage.
Yeah.
It's-
Damage,
Iskatu.
bro. What
Damage
what
was nice.
happened to Damage, bro? I'm
Damage
going to
was
his
good.
Twitter.
This is like a flashback right now. Yeah, it's actually mad.
Whoa.
It's actually mad when you think
He
about
hasn't
the amount of
tweeted
players.
since 2022.
Oh shit, he's off the scene.
He's literally
Pat, you
out
act
of
like
it.
these people are like dead because they don't tweet on Twitter.
Right. Anyway,
They don't
Like,
do
whoa!
that.
Oh my
I
god!
I gotta catch up with these guys, bro. These guys, I saw them at every event for
maybe we
years.
should have like a CDL or no, I was gonna say CWL, but CDL for some reason. Why don't we
I'm
have
gonna
like a
tweet him,
reunion
ask him-
in like
Yeah, I'm
20
gonna-
years?
I'm gonna tweet them and ask them if they're playing X Defiant. Let me
I
let me
like
know
it.
what the
I like the tweet.
Australian X Defiant scene's like right now.
Anyway, we've just been absolutely talking bollocks for the last 10 minutes, but let's move on to the community questions. We've got some interesting ones this week. And again, just a reminder, if anyone wants to get featured on the show, get your comments in the section below for the best chance. First one is from B Grizzy 24, and he asks, thoughts on the importance of recognition of challengers players by the CDL being suppressed by the isolation of CDL matches. If CDL teams played against top challengers teams consistently, they would know who's good or not. Well, I mean, it's not worded very well, to be honest, but I think essentially he's asking, like, you know, would it be easier for these teams to pick up the right players, I guess, if they were able to more regularly play against them? Because obviously we see a lot of players coming from challengers, maybe they're not being rightfully picked up for, you know, specific reasons, because it, for the most part, looks like challengers teams are challengers players are picked up from who does well at the events, which doesn't necessarily always tell you who the best player is.
It depends. You could say that, but the funny thing is, like, because I know a lot of the challenger players and I regularly go and like hang out with them during the events when I'm there. A lot of them don't agree with the people that get picked up. Like, they're just mind blown that like these people get picked up. Like, he's like, oh, there's people that would be like, oh, I could think of like 8 other people that deserve a chance over that guy, blah, blah, blah. So I don't know. It's kind of interesting to see their perspective. Maybe it's a little bit of jealousy, probably a lot of jealousy, but at the end of the day, I mean, if there was more of a way for pro teams to gauge the talent of challenger teams and players because they played against them more, even if there was like active 8s, yeah, it could definitely help. As far as like recognition goes, because I think he was like talking about how important is it for the recognition. Yeah, I mean, the CDL should be promoting challengers a lot more. There's like zero like advertisement. There's zero promotion when it comes to challengers. It's actually kind of insane.
But I think I don't think promotion is the problem. I think the format is the problem. Like, I think they need to make challengers matter more. Like, the promotion part would automatically happen if challengers mattered more. Like, if they set up a system that flooded challenger ecosystem more into the pro scene. I think that's the biggest issue, is because it feels so isolated that even if you promote it, you feel like you're promoting an entirely different product. And that I think is that's the problem.
Yeah.
You're spot on, Pat. I could tell you as a guy who ran an academy team in challengers and watched everyone I picked up go to the league. It was like, at what point I just feel like I'm worthless. Like I'm just worth nothing. Like what am I doing at this point? Like, dude, I spent years constantly finding the best players that are doing the most on the map all the time, because it's a team game and you have a system to the team and it works in a certain way because of the way it's working as a system. And then you see them all basically go to the league and do their thing. But I just like to think that it's all about the dynamic. And I feel with challengers, the best way pro teams could figure out who makes the most sense for their team from challengers, there's two things I think. One, literally who wins the MVP and gets first place. If that's the right role your team needs, easy swap in and out. Like, for example, 0-4 going to Seattle Surge. He didn't get the MVP. He did get the MVP, did he? Or they didn't even give an MVP out. But
Dak
0-4 to
was
Seattle
honorary
Surge,
MVP.
yes. Ghosty going to OpTic last year, yes. Like, it makes sense. But there's a lot of players that could get top 12, top 8, top 6, top 4. Like, I felt an immense amount of pressure as a player on Boston Academy to constantly make sure the results are always going up, even when the players were changing out. And it was a lot on us because I'm just sitting here like, dude, like a team's so fragile. Like if you like don't know how to make the team the right way, it's all going to go to shit. Like it's all just going to suck. So like, I think in challengers, if you can have a way to play pros and eights, that's the best starting way, Pat, every day. Like I think eights is the best telltale way to see a player's play style because every team needs a certain formula to win. And when you play against these players in eights, you could see, well, okay, this guy could put up stats, but man, is he way too slow. Or like, wow, this guy's way too fast. Or like, oh, this guy's just right. Or maybe we need that guy that's way too slow or that guy who's way too fast. You could tell by playing against them. So I don't like the discrimination of the challenger players getting suppressed to the pros because the pros don't want to scrim against the challenger players because they're afraid the challenger guys are going to take their jobs. There's a lot of the jealousy, like Chris said. The whole ecosystem should be directly asserted by the league, like you said, Pat, by making challengers relevant, because then it's always a constant system as opposed to an opinion. And when it's opinion, your opinion better be spot on. Like that's all I'll say about this whole thing because I have a lot of experience from all ends on this shit. And I'm just sitting here like extremely disappointed, to be honest. On all fronts, like on every front.
Yeah, I think the thing with challengers that's been the biggest issue, I think you touched on it there, is like teams aren't really doing their true due diligence when it comes to picking up players a lot of the time. And I think like things like eights, like you said, outside of even their play style, just seeing how players communicate, how they act around other people, all these things are like just extra information so people can make informed decisions and make the right decisions about who they're picking up onto their roster. But the next question is from Blake Rakes, and he asks, who do you all think the most improved player this year based off earlier majors or even last season is? So who do you think is the most improved player from the start of the season till now?
Abuza?
I was gonna say it's gotta be Abuza.
But he doesn't really qualify for most improved. He wasn't even in the league last year.
He's talking about from.
I mean, he's this question was based off that last year or just this season. So essentially, like we can determine with the start point.
I feel like Abuza is kind of a shitty pick though because he improved by his coaches finally stopped being morons. like he automatically improved by dropping a main AR that was holding him back and allowing him to run his role he should have been running the whole time. For me, I almost want to say Kyler. I feel like Kyler's been a lot better this year.
I think that's a good shout, to be fair. He's definitely been a lot more consistent.
Maybe statistically online. Nah, I think he's been relatively the same, bro. He was godlike on OpTic Online. Like, godlike. At the event, he played okay. He didn't play that good, but they were placing well. This year, I mean, he's just on a worse team, so his results look worse, but I think his gameplay has been pretty much the same, like in terms of like how like well he does.
Do you think not an honorary mention, it could even be in the conversation for the most improved? He is someone that has done well historically, but I think from the end of last year till now, I think Dylan Attach has obviously played incredibly well all season, but I think he's kind of improved quite a bit, in my opinion.
Could be him,
I don't think I've seen him perform this consistently in a few years.
Yeah, definitely.
Still has the full keys to Vegas, right?
I don't know.
Probably.
But
He probably does.
Another
I'm giving
one
it to Dylan. I'm going to give it to Dylan because I feel like if you're the guy who's like, I feel like Dylan runs the show in Vegas. Just my opinion. I have no idea. But I always love Dylan's play style. I always love how he plays. People say he's slow and he gets too many kills. He's honestly, he could do it all. Like Dylan could be ratty. He could be slow. He could be a sub at times if he needed to. But he kind of hard committed to what he wanted to do. And it worked really well for him and his team.
These two, you're going to be mind blown, and like they just don't stand out at all. But you could even say Draza and Simp. think Simp was kind of mid last year. He was overshadowed by
Guys,
BG.
guys, insane.
He was-
Guys
Their
picking the
expectation was so
MVP.
high
No,
already,
he was
though.
over.
Like,
He was overshadowed by Cell a lot. But Simp looks like he returned to form this year. And then Draza, like Draza's always been pretty good and consistent, but like now he's like playing even better than like the majority of his roster a lot of the time.
well, I mean, Draws
Guys-
got what
guys
8th at
insane.
champs last year on Thieves. So if you
I mean,
want to say
the-
Draws
it's-
by like results, you could say
It's-
that.
I
but-
mean, it's yeah. I mean, I don't know. Statistically, it's kind of crazy to see their bounce backs. I mean, obviously those guys are not like bad, but to see like them improving even from their like all right form is kind of nuts.
Although I don't think his statistics have changed drastically, I think a player that is worth mentioning, because I think he has become a lot more impactful, is probably Dashy. Like, to be honest, like
Yeah,
obviously he has been a player that has consistently performed well. Hasn't I wouldn't really say he was underrated or undervalued at any point, but he's definitely improved from the start, because I don't know if you remember to the start of the OpTic team on this year. I remember specifically that at the start of the season, it was a lot of the time Kenny that was sort of pulling the AR weight in a lot of these sort of like closer, tighter matches. So I think Dashy's without a shout as well.
I,
Yeah,
I
Dashy's
got my
also a good
final
shout.
pick.
Who's your pick?
TJ Halley.
that's
That
a
is
really good pick.
That's a really good shout,
That's a
actually.
really good shout. What about Fellow? Fellow's been frying now. I feel like he's been doing a lot better.
He's
Hello,
had too many
Johnny,
ups and downs, I think, to be in the most
Yeah.
improved. Because he came in like horrible, and then he was doing well on land and getting shit on online. I feel like TJ's just been their X factor all year. Like Gwen's obviously their best player, but TJ's been like consistently performing at a solid level all year long, and I don't think he's ever the reason they're losing.
I'm co-signing Tej. I think he's the most improved.
yeah, I'm co-signing.
All right. We've all kind of mentioned a bunch of names. I think they all deserve a mention, but yeah, I'm just willing to jump on the Tej bandwagon as well. We'll go with Tej. And that's it from us, guys. That's it from us here on Reverse Sweep.
But I gotta say something, Mark.
On you go.
So, I mean, I know for most of our viewers, you know, the reverse sweep is going to be on their recommended page when they load up on YouTube, hopefully because they're subscribed. But my number one recommended video on YouTube right now is top 0.1 X-Defiant Grinder Parasite goes crazy and drops 120 kills while talking to a girl. That's impressive, Chris. I don't know what that got clipped from, but that is impressive. 120 kills while talking to a girl. job, man.
W Riz?
Good job, man.
That's hilarious. Wait, link me that. That's hilarious.
I put it in the chat. But hey, make sure you guys are subscribed to get every reverse sweep content in your recommended.
100%. I've just seen that video now. What a vid. I'll be tuning into that right after this, guys, as you all should. But thanks again. Like Pat said, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you comment your amazing questions below for a chance to get featured next week. And have a fantastic week, guys. See you all later.
Later.
Peace.